Scammer Gerald Barnabaum, or better known as Dr. Barnes to his patients and colleagues, put on one of the best acting performances for over 20 years. He faked being a doctor by stealing the identity of a real doctor, someone named Gerald Barnes. While driving home one day, the real Dr. Barnes heard over the radio that he'd been arrested for manslaughter. That's when he knew his identity had been stolen, and it wouldn't be the last time Gerald would pretend to be him. Gerald had a normal upbringing in Chicago, Illinois. Born in 1933, he was more talented than all of his peers, something they had to come to terms with. As a youth, he was one heck of an actor, so much so that he even landed a role in several traveling shows. This, according to one Frank Heckel, a retired senior investigator with the California Medical Examiner's Office. His former colleagues remembered him as a lively person, witty, and charming. Gerald was also remembered fondly as a confident person with a flair for storytelling, something that probably branched from his exceptional acting skills. Equipped with a degree in pharmacology, Gerald worked in a Chicago office where his colleagues and friends remember him as an easygoing person. They even suggested that he try medical school. They genuinely thought he would make an excellent doctor. Some patients even referred to him as a doctor, a subtle nuance they may have gone to his head, encouraging him to pursue the thorny path of impersonation. Gerald's medical life wasn't entirely a lie. He did attend the University of Illinois College of Pharmacy in Chicago, graduating in 1958. He practiced as a pharmacist until 1971, when his license was revoked in the aftermath of Medicaid fraud charges. This revocation marked his fraudulent journey in the medical world. He moved to California in 1976, where he officially adopted the name Gerald Barnes. He started by stealing the identity of a licensed medical doctor in Stockton. He was reborn and worked as a physician in the Los Angeles and Southern California region for the next 3 years. As mentioned earlier, it takes something special to impersonate a doctor, and Gerald had it in him. Gerald developed a plan to get his hands on the documents belonging to the real Gerald Barnes. According to a medical economics article, Gerald wrote to California medical authorities on a letterhead bearing the name of Dr. Gerald Barnes and tactfully requested copies of records the real Barnes was required to file with the state. He explained that he needed the copies because he had just undergone a bitter divorce with his spouse, who destroyed the originals during those trying times. After getting his hands on the initial documents, he used the information he learned from those documents and wrote another letter, this time requesting the authentic copies of Dr. Barnes' medical school degree and other credentials. Fully armed with legitimate papers, he applied and obtained a job at a clinic in East Los Angeles. After a while, he landed a better paying job at a medical center in Irvine, California. His career was in full swing. He was never going to look back. As everyone can imagine, Gerald's lucky run as a fake doctor would eventually end up at a fatal point. In 1979, after 3 years of practicing as a phony doctor, Gerald made his biggest blunder yet. This time involving the life of an innocent man, John McKenzie. December 26, 1979, the day after Christmas, McKenzie visited Dr. Barnes. He was suffering from dry mouth, sudden weight loss, dizziness, and uncontrolled thirst. Medically, these were signs of diabetes. Gerald instead told McKenzie to go home with a single instruction: get some rest. He prescribed some drugs for vertigo and sent him home. 2 days later, McKenzie's body was discovered in his apartment, and all the signs pointed towards uncontrolled diabetes as the cause of his unfortunate death. Gerald's medical negligence cut short the life of 29-year-old McKenzie. Despite vividly portraying symptoms of type 1 diabetes, the quack doctor gave him a drug for vertigo and released him. Following John McKenzie's visit to the fake Dr. Barnes' facility, a blood test conducted on him later revealed that he had much higher blood glucose content, indicating severe hyperglycemia, and made a distress call to the local police, who would later discover the body of the young McKenzie. The physician immediately figured out something was amiss and had more than enough reasons to believe Dr. Barnes wasn't who he claimed to be. He was an imposter. The assistant knew a real doctor wouldn't have missed the clear symptoms that McKenzie displayed. The police got involved, and true to the physician's gut feeling, a year later, in 1980, Gerald was charged with second-degree murder in John McKenzie's death. The charge was later reduced to manslaughter, and he was additionally charged with practicing without a medical license. Gerald was sentenced to 3 years and 4 months in jail. He went on to serve 19 months before being released on parole. Gerald left prison and landed a salesman job at an industrial maintenance supply company in Anaheim. But claiming the life of an innocent man didn't deter Gerald from continuing his erratic medical career. After his release from prison, and despite being on parole, the fake doctor picked up where he had left off as if nothing of substance had happened. By 1984, he was back with a bang, working at a clinic in Orange County, where he was soon discovered and rearrested. This happened after he tried applying for hospital privileges, only for the real Dr. Barnes to blow the whistle. Yet again, he faced the wrath of the law, being convicted of grand theft and forgery. His crimes landed him a jail sentence that lasted 3 years and 4 months. Persistent as a mosquito, Barnes kept going, showing the state that he was a relentless criminal. His third conviction came in 1989, courtesy of stealing the identity of a pharmacist based in San Francisco. This man's name was Donald Barnes, and Gerald was caught trying to use Donald's license when applying for a job. Dr. Barnes was arrested for a fourth time in early 1991, this time for parole violation. He didn't spend much time in jail. By October the same year, he was out. A persistent imposter, Gerald worked in half a dozen medical facilities across Los Angeles for 4.5 years. His fraudulent efforts didn't go unpaid, as he earned an excellent $400,000 over the same period. His phony services also cost the insurance companies $5 million in coverages. The fake Dr. Barnes used the resume of the real one to convince hospitals to hire him. Decorated to the core, his resume indicated that he had received a doctorate in pharmacology from the University of Illinois and a medical degree from the University of Wisconsin. That stellar academic record was backed by 17 years of experience practicing general family medicine at the Garfield Medical Center in Illinois. The first encounter involving the two doctors, the imposter and the real, is a rather funny one. Responding to the whole saga involving the fake doctor, the real Dr. Barnes narrated how he was driving home when he heard the police had picked him up for manslaughter. He said it felt pretty frightening. Gerald, in a twist of irony, also worked at a facility that served FBI agents. In 1995, the fake medical practitioner obtained a position as a staff physician at a Los Angeles clinic called Executive Health Group. The facility handled physical checkups on FBI agents and several senior officials of the Federal Reserve Bank. Reportedly, Gerald inspected hundreds of FBI agents in a year. While earning a base salary of $110,000, Gerald interacted with top security officials, which is an impressive client list, according to then U.S. Attorney Daniel Saunders. He wrote prescriptions for and performed examinations on the agents. Between July 1995 and April 1996, Dr. Barnes examined the very FBI agents who'd arrest him had they found out his true identity. In true Gerald fashion, he probably misdiagnosed some of them. In one case, Gerald failed to diagnose an FBI agent who was suffering from prostate cancer. Another had a serious heart condition that slipped past Gerald's radar. And in a twist of events, he was discovered when a new investigator representing the state medical board took over his case and cross-examined him. He was actually one of Gerald's patients. Talk about a flew too close to the sun scenario. Attempting to throw kicks of a dying horse, Gerald faked suicidal intent and later faked a heart attack. Neither worked in his favor. It would later come to light that Dr. Barnes had misdiagnosed many patients and prescribed wrong medications. Dr. Barnes was ultimately sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. The whole incident exposed the California health system that is tasked with protecting the lives of sick and innocent people. In the follow-up to Dr. Barnes' saga, the Medical Board of California rushed in to implement sticker rules for checking health workers' credentials and background. They also outlined stricter measures before copies of personal documents could be issued, like the ones Gerald used to pull off his act. The fake Dr. Barnes is one like no other. After all the crimes, convictions, and parole violations, he still dared to escape from prison. In 2000, during a transfer to another prison, Dr. Barnes escaped while being transferred from California to another minimum security jail in Minnesota. 4 weeks later, he was captured by the U.S. Marshal Service. Guess what he was doing? Working in another medical clinic. This unnecessary crime earned him an additional 6 months in prison for escaping custody. Gerald spent the rest of his life in prison until his death in June 2018. He was 84 years old. The real Dr. Barnes spent countless hours, months, and years trying to undo the damage the imposter had asserted on his name. Still, Gerald's tale remains one of the boldest stories of medical impersonation. He could have landed himself a spot on any number of TV medical dramas. His life certainly played out like one. Instead, Gerald's story has been told through several true crime media outlets, including the Canadian show Masterminds and American Greed. Click here to watch one of these next videos.